Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Geek Heart Games podcast. I am Cody, and I'm joined by...
It's me, Sam.
Yes. And I don't know why we do this all the time. Um,
We need to just write
we have
down
such
how
a...
we're going to do it, so it's fine.
Exactly. This week on Geek Heart Games, we have a very special episode. Today, we are covering...
Oh my,
movie.
Cody, you cut out right when you said what we're covering, so you need to say it again.
Okay. So we are covering Tomb Raider, the movie, not the Angelina Jolie ones, the new one that just came out.
Yes.
I mean, those were pretty good. Like, a little bit...
Were you going to say something?
Oh, okay. I mean, Angelina Jolie ones were a little weird at times. A lot of sex stuff happening all the time.
I know I saw them, but I don't really remember them, so I don't feel it's a great loss.
Yeah, good point. Anyways, so the reason we are covering a movie this week is because I will be out of town for a couple of days, so we wanted to be able to record a regular episode. So we were like, well, let's cover a video game movie, so we're still in the realm of video games. Yeah.
And also, I mean, there's going to be some talk of the Tomb Raider video game as well.
Yes, Sam's been playing, so...
Yes, because like I saw that the movie was coming out and we talked about doing this, and I was like, you know what? I don't remember if I've played some of a Tomb Raider game or not, because I have this image in my mind of Laura on a boat talking to a guy about this trip, you know. It's like it was very clear in my mind. So I'm like, I think maybe I played it. Then I went back and no, I hadn't played the game. That was just the movie trailer that I remembered seeing in my head. So I was like, oh, okay, so I haven't played the game. But I checked my library and I have Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. And I don't remember if it was a free PS Plus game at some point or if it was just on sale and I bought it because it seemed like a good idea. Sometimes I do that. I don't know. But whatever the case, I had it in my library and I started playing it. So I got to play it before I saw the movie. So we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, so we will be doing some non-spoiler talk first, and then eventually moving on to spoilers. That's how we'll be doing our movie reviews. We do have others planned in the future.
I mean, I wanted to just do spoilers at the first with no warning, but Cody said that was a no-go, so it's fine.
Yeah, I figured we might lose a couple people. So definitely, if you do plan to see this movie, stop when we say, hey, we're going to be doing spoilers, but if you don't plan on seeing this, feel free to listen all the way through. We'll be giving our opinions on the movie, all that. So Sam, let's get started with some spoiler-free stuff. Do you like Tomb Raider, the movie? We'll get to the game later.
Mm-hmm. So I liked it quite a bit. I feel like I would have liked it more if I hadn't played the game first. So that's a lot of that I can't really get into until we get into the story. But overall, I thought Alicia Vikander was fantastic as Lara Croft. I thought she totally embodied what this character is. After playing the game, like seeing her, it seemed like this was. Oh, what are you making a face at me for?
No, I'm not making a face. I was not making a face.
You're making a face.
Well, okay, finish yours, and then I'll get to mine.
Well, now I'm thrown off. Oh, tell me. No, just tell me. Tell me what's this about?
Okay. I did not hate this movie. I liked it to a point.
Mm-hmm.
I had some issues with the start of the movie and how they portrayed Laura at the start, and then there's a very hard cut, and she becomes this badass character that you know from the video games. That's how I felt, at least. She's Alicia Vikander. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Alicia Vikander, yeah.
Alicia Vikander is a really great actress. I believed like everything she was doing. I 100% believed it. She's a great actress. Other people in the movie were not very believable. I felt like some of the acting in this movie was not very good at times.
Okay, let me go back because you said that you didn't think it was very believable for her to just suddenly become this action hero. And I felt that at the beginning, it's showing different aspects of her life that are showing like the building blocks for how she can become. And she doesn't start out as like, a total badass. She kind of has to go through a transformation when she gets to the island. It's not like, I mean, she's kind of a reluctant hero. She doesn't go searching for like this. What are you're making a face again?
Okay. Um, we need, it's tough because I can't talk about spoiler stuff, but like,
Okay.
um, so let's go over like the plot first. Once we get to
No,
spoiler
okay.
stuff,
All right, but let's because I watched the trailer before we started recording so that we could just like talk about the plot based on the trailer because that wouldn't give any spoilers, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Um, so pretty much the base thing is that Laura's father has disappeared. Um, and so she's kind of an orphanish character. Like
But she's an
is,
adult.
she's an adult, yeah, yeah. She's an adult, and like she's just trying to make ends meet. And then something happens, and she is in the trailer. I'm not sure because I don't
She
remember the
in the
trailer.
trailer she gets this key to a secret room where all of her dad's research was. She finds out her dad wasn't just this wealthy businessman, he was like this crazy Indiana Jones archaeologist type with all of this research. And there's this tomb on an island, and she finds the notes about how to get it, and so she wants to go try to find her dad is
Yeah.
basically what the start of this is.
And so she eventually does make it to this island, and some things occur. Um, that's kind of the base plot of this movie.
Yes.
There's probably about 30 minutes of it is not on the island, and then once we get to the island, things just started happening.
Yeah, that's what I was. One thing I was gonna say, like, it seemed like that first part was really long, the lead up to before she got to the island. Um, but I didn't mind that because, like, I liked the character development that we were getting from that, and I liked seeing the different aspects of her life and getting to know who she is, like, at this stage in her life. I thought it was good, kind of like background material on her. But because that was so long, the rest of the movie seemed like pretty rushed, especially after playing the video game, because it takes like 20 hours to get through all this. It progresses slowly, but like you just like bam, she's on the island and shit starts going down. So it all seemed to just go pretty fast after that.
Yeah, so I definitely think we're gonna start to move into spoilers soon. But just
Let me see if I have anything else.
yeah, if you have anything else you would like to add,
I liked the actor who played Lu Ren, the captain of the ship.
yes, very good actor.
He was
I
good.
think I've seen him in some other small roles, and he usually does a very good job. Um, a bad guy, God, I can't remember that dude's
Okay, I
name,
took notes.
but
His name
he's
is Walton Goggins.
yes, always plays a bad guy. I've
He's
noticed in most
skeezy,
movies.
skeezy, skeezy.
He's a looking dude, yeah. But he always kills it. Like I'll give it to like he did a great job here. Um,
I think he plays in Justified, and that's like I don't think I've
yes, he
watched that,
also
but I've
plays the
seen
bad guy.
commercials, and he's like just like the kind of gross guy in that. So yeah, he's the bad guy. Um, her friend at the beginning, Laura's friend that you see, like I was watching that, and I'm like, who is this girl? Because I recognize her, but I couldn't place her. So I went and looked it up. Her name is Hannah John Carmen, and she's not like super famous, I guess, but excuse me, she was in a show called Killjoys on Sci-Fi Network, and I'd
Oh,
watched a few
okay, I've
episodes
heard
of
of that.
that, and I liked it. So she was on that, and so that's why she looked so familiar. Excuse me.
Um, so based on just if you were not a fan of the video game and going into this movie, I do think this is a very nice popcorny action
It's
movie.
a very good action movie.
Yeah. So definitely if you can go to a matinee, get a little cheap ticket, get some popcorn, go hang out and watch it. I definitely because once you get through that like kind of first 30 minutes, like the movie definitely ramps up and it's a lot of fun from there.
The first 30 minutes is not bad. I like the first 30 minutes, Cody. It's good.
When I get the spoilers, we'll discuss this.
Okay.
Okay.
Ah, um, okay. This isn't. This is not a spoiler. Oh my god.
You're losing your voice.
Excuse me. I am so sorry. Um, but let's just go ahead and talk about it. Oh my god, her abs are amazing, Cody. I mean, I just can't
Some
even.
pretty good abs.
Pretty good abs, my ass, Cody. She is phenomenal. Her body is in like the best shape that I've ever seen. She's got muscles just like everywhere. So when she's in the action role doing these like jumps and like actiony type stuff, it is like super believable because like she's got the muscles to back up all the stunts that she's doing. So it looked incredible.
Yeah, there's definitely some moments in this movie where I was like, man, if I was in that situation, I'd be dead because I could not hold on to something that long.
Oh
Like, I'd
yeah.
just be dead.
No, yeah, yeah.
Um,
She's got tremendous upper body strength. Um,
but
I mean,
she
she's
definitely got. I don't know if she was ripped before this, but she definitely put the work in for
oh
this
yeah,
role, and
she definitely
yeah,
worked very hard to get into this shape to make a believable action hero. So she did a phenomenal job. So there's that.
yeah. So before we move into spoilers, would you recommend this film to anybody? Really, I guess.
Absolutely. I would definitely recommend this. Like I said, I really liked it, and I would have liked it even more if I didn't have the plot point problems because of what I played in the video game. Because like, it's this movie is based on Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, the story in that game, um, but it's real loosely based, okay?
Yeah.
Like there's there's like so many characters in the game that do not make it into the movie, and then there's just the whole storyline is just real loose. It's not it doesn't follow the game. They take some major different tacks, and I mean that would be fine. I think people who didn't play the game that went into it, they just be like, "Yeah, this is awesome. It's cool." And if you weren't like, spoiler alert, I am in love with the video game, so I that's my ruling factor right there. So that prevented me from liking the movie to the utmost, but I think it's a very good movie. So okay.
And I would also recommend the movie. Very good action film. Uh, if you have time, go see it. And if you have a even slight interest in the character of Laura Croft, definitely go see it. And with that, we're going to start moving into spoilers. So we're going to give you guys about a minute or so to, pause, run to the kitchen where you're listening to this, making a sandwich. If you're in your car, on the side of the road, throw your radio out the window. Um,
Don't do that. That's
yeah, don't do
that's
that.
not
Rip
good.
your
That's
headphones out.
littering. It's
It
trouble.
is littering. Jail for
Um,
that, and we will not pay the bill for that.
I
All right.
mean, you throw it out, you might accidentally hit a squirrel. It would be horrible. So let's
And
just
Sam will come for you if you kill a squirrel.
don't kill a
She will.
squirrel. Not cool. Not cool. Okay,
All
spoiler
right.
warning is out there. All right, tell
Yes.
me, tell me your problems, Cody.
All right. Um. So I got quite a few things here.
Jeez.
Uh, so we start off with her getting her ass kicked in a boxing ring,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, this is kind of a weird way to show me like badass Laura Croft, whatever. And then we move to the whole like, okay, she's definitely hurting for money.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, pretty much right after that, we find out that her dad's been missing for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody who's like been missing for 7 years and hasn't been proclaimed dead. Why would you not leave like any bit of money to this child that you just left
No, whoa,
behind?
whoa, 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 no, no, no. No, she has access to all the money, but she has to like do the
Claim his death.
witnessing that he's dead. And I
Okay, but
think,
he's been gone for 7 years. I think he's dead at this point.
well,
Like this is
she no, because she loves him and is just in denial and is not willing to accept that he's dead. So she refuses to sign it. She refuses to take her birthright. She moves out of her giant mansion. She doesn't want to accept that and move on. That's the point. She
maybe
has access to all the money. She could be running the business if she wanted to. She just chose not to because she wasn't willing to accept it.
maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like
Well, I
if
mean, you're
someone's been
definitely
dead,
crazy, but that has
I'm
nothing to do
definitely
with this
crazy
movie.
apparently. Um, so like after 7 years, you eventually get proclaimed dead. Like it's just like, hey, this the state or they are in somewhere in Europe, right? They
Yes.
don't have British accents, so I think
Yes. Probably
okay,
just London? I don't I don't really
yeah.
know. I don't know.
So, but I
Uh,
feel like here in the states, like after a certain period of time, you're just proclaimed dead, and
I mean, it might be 7 years. I mean, it's a decent
I
amount of
don't know.
time.
Who
So
knows?
I mean, you've got some
Um,
time. I think that's
but I
what was going
definitely
to
felt
happen. I
like
think that was we were at the point right now. That's where Anna, who plays is played by Kristen Scott Thomas, she came to her and was like, "Hey, you need to sign and acknowledge this and take over the estate, or else it's all going to get sold off." Because like that's I think that's the point where the government's going to come in. Like enough time has passed that they don't have any
yeah,
leeway
okay,
anymore. So I think that's kind of like this is the tipping point of it.
okay, that makes sense.
Eric, let's go back to her getting her ass kicked in the boxing ring, okay? Because I think this is important because it shows that she has the training. She is a fighter. Yeah, she was getting her ass kicked, but I think I don't even know if they were like some of the same moves, but it seems like stuff you saw in that first fight come back later in the movie. Like I
Yeah,
think like with the choking off and stuff like that, like it comes back. So I think it's important to see that she has this training. And I think if you didn't see that and you just like started in the island, you'd be like, well, I guess she has training. I don't know. But here you get to see it. And also you get to see those
um,
abs. I mean, that's worth
I mean,
it by itself. So
yeah, and so like that she does this weird biking thing, and like the biking thing was cool. I'll give her that. It's a great scene. Um, the weird fox game they played, which seemed very weird. Like, if hey, if you know that happens in somewhere, please let me know because it sounds like a good time. And after that, she gets arrested.
But also,
Uh,
let me say that the biking I think is important also because you see what a tremendous athlete she is. She does lots of cardio. So
good
running through
point.
the woods is going to be a-okay for her. So it's all
Yeah.
important, Cody. It's building her character.
Okay. I mean, yeah, to the point.
No,
Like,
it's
so I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, man, they're really rushing this. Like, they're just trying to get like everything packed in this first 30 minutes so we can get to this island. But then I realized like there are probably people out there who don't know who Laura Croft is,
hmm
what Tomb Raider is. So like they definitely have to do an introduction. It's just like how we complain about superhero movies. Like, oh god,
hmm
I get to see Uncle Ben shot for the 9,000th time. Like,
Yeah.
okay, but some people don't know who Spider Man is. So
Yeah.
I definitely get like it's just like this is a very like Spider Man is well known at this point. Laura Croft Tomb Raider, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Um, I did enjoy once the ball got rolling and like she gets the key and she starts
hmm
finding out what her dad was doing. I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. Um, like yeah, I like the actor who plays Lou Ren.
hmm
It's really funny that he's just a drunk and like he lost all his money, so he's like my favorite line in this movie was she pulls this money out of the shoe and slaps it on the table and like he just lost all his money the night before, so he's like, what's in the other shoe? And like I just fucking cracked up at it. Um, Definitely once we start going towards the island, I was like, all right, this is getting good. Like it's starting to ramp up. We're learning stuff. Um,
So
so
to backfill, well, if you're listening to this, you've probably already seen it. So you know that her dad hired Lou Ren's dad to take him to the
yes,
island 7 years ago. That's how she tracked Lou down and convinced him to take her to the island. There's a real good. I enjoyed the scene with the three little street hooligans who try to steal her bag, and she has to go chase them down.
oh yeah, that was a very good chase scene.
Well, and also you see a little bit of her personality because I mean, she gets the bag back, and then they pull a knife on her, and she doesn't try to fight these guys. Then she's like, "I'm getting the hell out of here." So I mean, she's
Yeah,
not out here looking for conflict. She just wants to go find her dad, and she's eventually going to get pushed into more violent things later. But her nature right now is not to just jump into battle.
yeah. I definitely yeah, the chase scene was very cool and like you do get to see like the where she grabs the kind of hook that because there's
Oh,
always got to
uh-huh.
be a random hook hanging around in
Mm-hmm.
these scenarios. She grabs it and like swings around. I was like, ah, that's something you'd see in the video game.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Always
Um,
swinging on stuff.
so going back, so Loren and Laura are going across the ocean, and they get to the part where they're about to get to the island, and then the weather gets really crazy, and the ship crashes, and Laura wakes up, and there is the bad guy in the movie. Did we ever get his name?
It's Matthias.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure they talk about it in the movie, but I mean, I just know it so well from the video game. So.
Um, so he's pretty much like, oh, what did you want to say, Sam?
Okay, before we get to that, let's just go ahead and quick talk about all the people that were in the video game that did not make it into the movie. So the video game, Laura has this whole crew. She's not looking for her dad. She's specifically going to the island to look for the tomb of Himiko, which is the same thing in the movie, Himiko's tomb. But so
We should hard
oh my
pause.
god,
So
pause and
because
then pause.
I haven't played the game, so like this is supposed to be loosely based on the first game. So you can, and you played the first game, so you can attest this. Like, so how much so far are we like you're obviously talking about it right now, but just kind of how much is lining up? Like, explain.
Um, okay, I need to finish telling you about some of these people. Okay, so
Go for
on the boat with her, there's this girl named Sam who is like about the same age as Laura. They're buddies.
it.
Um,
Oh,
she is Asian American, I believe, and that's going to be important later because what you eventually find out is their boat crashed because Himiko, who is the queen, has power over the weather, and she likes to make things crash on her island, and she doesn't let anything leave her island ever. So anytime anyone tries to leave, a storm will come up and they get pushed back to the island. Um, the okay, we're gonna go into like spoilers for the game as well. Are you cool with that, Cody?
that's fine. Go for
So eventually, you find out that Himiko used to she would find an heir, like a young girl, and she would pass on her power to the girl when it was time for her to die, you know, when she was getting old. And so her line continued, and like the power would pass on and on. And so you get the sense that Matthias, what he wants to do is take Sam. Turns out she's a descendant of Himiko, and he wants to get Himiko's power into Sam so that she can control the weather, and then everybody can leave the island. Um, but later, even further along, you actually find out that Himiko was actually like just this real evil, mean lady, and she wasn't transferring her power to these other women, girls. She was just like inserting herself into them and
it.
destroying
Yeah,
their
I figured this was
personality.
going.
So she was bad news. So she tries to Matthias takes Sam, uh, starts the ceremony to do the transfer. Laura has to come in and save the day, which she does. She saves Sam multiple times. So she saves her, and then like at the end of the game, Laura's carrying Sam like down the mountain, and so she's just like a typical action hero man would be. Like you have to save the girl and like carry her to safety, and I enjoyed that because like as I was playing the game, I was like, you know what? There's nothing like super clear about this. I'm just gonna pretend that they're in love, cause why not? It makes me
Go
happy.
for it. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there was one part where you find a journal where Sam was writing about this vacation they took together and they had a good time exploring stuff, but then they kept running into all these cute boys. I was like, that doesn't mean anything. They still love each other. There could be cute boys to play with, but it's
I will
fine.
say, I was shipping Lou Ren and Laura so hard. I was like, yeah, my boy Lou Ren, get it.
Okay, let me just say you were shipping those two because they're the only two fucking people in the movie, pretty much.
Reasonable. Good point.
Okay, so the other people that are missing from the movie, there's Reyes, who is an African American woman, and she's got quite a bit of an attitude. For much of the game, she is pissed at Laura because Laura brought her here. She crashed. Reyes just wants to get home to her daughter, which you find
Hey.
out the father is Roth, who is. He's not the captain. He's just. He was friends with Laura's dad. He's like the kind of man in charge. There's this guy named Grim, who is the captain, and he's like this real grizzled I think maybe he's like Irish or Scottish. He's got some kind of accent and he's a lot of fun. And then there's this big guy named Jonah who kind of seems like he's from the Polynesian Isles or something. And he's the cook. He's a good guy. And then there's Whitman who is like in charge of a reality. He's the lead character in a reality TV show, which they're also filming that while they're doing this part of the quest.
Yeah,
Like I
you know,
think that's
as you
where, as you do, like that's where some of their
like,
funding came from. And I think Sam is
uh,
actually like the producer, and like Whitman is like the on-air talent or something. And he's a fucking asshole. That's neither here nor there. But so there were all these people that were with Laura in the game that she gets separated from. She comes back to. Different things happen throughout the game. But yeah. Uh, okay. Look, you can keep going now with your part of the story, and then I'll interject again when we get to the next thing that I'm very upset about.
so one more time. What was this bad guy's name? Because I keep forgetting.
Matthias.
Matthias. Okay.
Yes.
So Matthias reveals to Laura after he has got her like at the shipwrecked and he has quote unquote saved her. Reveals that he has killed Laura's dad. Laura's dad's gone, and he's looking for the tomb of Himiko because somebody on this phone says he can't go home until he finds the tomb of Himiko.
Yes, so
Um,
Trinity is the name of the organization that he works
yeah,
for. And when Laura found her father's notes, like it was talking about Trinity, and actually there was a little video message from her dad, and he was like, Trinity is the worst. They're trying to end the world. You have to destroy all of this research so that they can never reach the tomb and be a threat to the world. So she was supposed to destroy all this shit. She was never supposed to come to the island. I mean, he was telling her, hey, don't go raiding tombs, just mind your own business. But
just yeah.
she's stubborn. She does what she wants, and she needs closure about her dad, so she came to the island anyway.
So at this point, Laura like busts out of the tent, like, "No, oh my God, you killed my dad," all that, and she finds out that like they have pretty much got like some slave labor going on, and like
Mm-hmm.
Lou Ren's already working, so Laura starts doing some slave labor for them, and that's like the saddest part of the movie. This old man gets like sick, and I was
Yeah,
like, "Is like coughing to death," and then like Matthias just walks up and pops one in his head. I was like, "What the? Okay." Um,
yeah.
and at this point, it's kind of like Laura's like, "All right, I need to get out of here." Like, so can't she? Does she end up shooting someone, or what was? How did she make her
Um,
a
I
distraction?
think Lurin like has a shovel or something and hits the guy with the gun to distract him while Lara runs
Yeah,
away. At some point, Lou ends up with the gun, but then he doesn't get far. He gets shot just in the shoulder. He's okay.
yeah,
But she runs off. I think this is where she runs off for a
and she,
while. Is this where
yeah,
the
she gets in
first
like.
first kill happens?
No, I don't think so. I think this is where she jumps in the water, and then the water carries her down, and she jumps on like the
Oh, the
plane,
airplane. Okay, so yes. So
airplane on the edge of a waterfall, and this is the point in the movie where I was like, I'd be dead,
no,
hundred
yeah.
percent.
Oh yeah. But this was really good because this part was very similar to the game. There is a part where she ends up in this plane, and in the movie it's all rotted, there's no glass, but like the metal starts breaking and she's gonna fall through. In the game I think there was still glass because you like feel the see the glass starting to break. In both the game and the movie she falls down, she grabs the parachute with her and like pops that open as she's falling, which I was like, if you're gonna, I mean, suspension of disbelief, but I'm like, if you pop that, I don't care how good a grip you have on it in your hands, I feel
It's
like it's
yeah,
gonna
it's gonna make
yank
it
out of your
explode. Yeah,
hands. Yeah.
I was like, ah, that was a little. Um,
But she
I
goes,
believe
hmm,
in the game is that it's not where you fall and like some wood goes through like your leg in a
no,
very
no, no.
grotesque manner.
Okay, now here's the thing. So it's a piece of rebar, which I'd heard about this
Oh,
quite a bit, and I'm like, people are like, yeah, this huge thing of rebar. It's like there's no way she'd survive. Da 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 da. And when I played the game, it happens and I'm like, oh, and it's like this real thin little piece of rebar and it's like right on the very edge of her skin, so it's like it clearly didn't go through any like major organs. I mean, it went through skin, it went through muscle, but I'm like, okay, yes, that's gonna hurt, that's gonna bleed, that's gonna be a pain, but I mean, it's, I don't think it's life-threatening. It's not as big of a deal as
I
people
think
made it out to be.
the injury in the movie seemed more life threatening because like a splinter or something of wood gets
Yeah.
in her stomach, where
No,
almost where
it's
like one of her kidneys would be, right?
I feel it was still way on the side of her stomach, like way on the edge of her.
Yeah,
I mean, it's too far. I think they made it far enough away from like any major organs where it's
I
okay.
guess so.
It's just like, yeah, this is gonna suck. Okay, keep going.
So she gets a little splinter in her. She rips it out, and she starts kind of doing some exploring. And I believe this is where she sees a figure and starts chasing the figure.
I think she has her first kill first.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay, yeah,
Okay,
because the dude shows up. So
yes.
when she runs away, Matthias sends the guard who got hit by the shovel after her, and
Hmm.
like he shows up, and I don't think he's bringing Laura back alive. So he starts fighting her, and Laura does the headlock technique, and then pretty much drowns her.
Him.
And at this point, I was like, "Holy shit, this movie's really good."
Yeah, I thought this scene was so good because it was like just like gritty and raw, and like you were down in the mud with them, and you could see like on her the toll this was taking on her as
Yeah,
she's got her grip. She's holding him down in the water. She like knows that she's killing somebody for the first time, and it's just like the emotions that are going through her. She's trying to just live and survive through this, and knowing that this is what she has to do. It was emotional. It was very well done. I thought that was a very great scene.
yeah, and this definitely like shows you that like Laura's not here to be the nice like hero
Hmm.
type. She's here to survive. Like
Hmm.
she's going to get out of here. She wants to get out of here. She'll do whatever it has to take, including drowning a man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after this, she sees the figure and chases the figure, and the figure ends up being her dad. After they do some like he doesn't recognize her, so she does this like two finger thing that they do.
They used to like, I think that was like they blow the kiss with the two fingers to like,
Yeah,
that was just their little
I
thing that
don't
they
know.
did.
I got some very like Hunger Games vibe because she like kissed her hand and then held
Yeah.
the fingers, and I was like, yeah, Sector 9, something like that. Um,
Okay. So we have just entered my major problem with the movie. Her dad was not in the game at all. I did
Okay.
not want her dad in the movie, and I just didn't like that that was the choice that they made. Um, in the movie, she's established, she's her own woman, she's taking care of business, she's doing this. In the movie, they make her where she's still just a weak kind of daughter, like she's doing all this for her father, she needs her father, and like everything about this is influenced by him, it seems like, and that was just like a little disappointing for me. Like I wanted her to be out of his shadow and just to be completely her own thing. So I was just like, ugh.
I kind of had a different reaction to it. The second I found out he was alive, I was like, that fucker's dying before the end of this movie. Like, he's fucking gone. Uh, I was just like, whatever, you're gonna die soon, my friend. That actor looks very familiar. I feel like he played.
He's Dominic West.
Dominic, what did he play? Was he the Dracula in that Dracula movie?
Which Dracula movie?
It just came out a couple years ago.
There was a Dracula movie a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was supposed to be part of that whole like movie monster universe, and then they were like, no, I forget what it was called.
What movie monster universe?
Like how they're doing like with the Mummy, and they
It's
were gonna
supposed to be a
have.
universe?
Yeah, they were supposed to. It did not go well with the Mummy doing so bad. I can't remember. He was. I think he was the Dracula in one of the Dracula movies. Um, so he's like, so they start talking, like they're reminiscing, and he is pretty much like, "Well, how did you find me?" She starts explaining, and then she reveals that uh, I fucking forgot the name again. Matthias.
Yes, Matthias.
Matthias got the book. He gets like pissed at her. He's like, "You
Yeah.
stupid!" Like I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, they're pretty nice. She just wanted to save
I
you.
don't
You
think he
should be
called her
thanking her."
stupid, but that's
I think
fine.
she called her. I'm pretty sure.
Did
No,
he?
he's okay. He said something about her stupidity.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Well, and he's already disappointed in her
underestimating
because
her.
like he wants to know about her and he's like, "Did you go to Oxford or Cambridge?" And she's like, "Yeah, I didn't go to university." He's like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they started talking about university. And
"Yeah."
she was just like, "Yeah, no," and I was like, "Relate, girl. I can relate."
So I do not want Lara Croft to be the disappointing daughter. Fuck that.
Yeah. Uh,
Can okay, go ahead.
so she gets mad, sees a bow and arrow. At some point, we got a flashback about how she was learning to shoot a bow and
Hmm.
arrow earlier in this
Yeah.
movie. So she picks up the bow and arrow, and you're like, shit's about to go down.
Oh yes.
So,
Okay, one real important thing that like I needed this, okay? So I see this old guy who's living in a cave. He's been on this island for 7 years. Of course, he has like ugliest fucking beard just like everywhere. It's like ugh. And
that was a pretty fucked up looking beard, my man.
I'm
Like,
watching it. I'm like, God, that is so horrible. I wish they would just shave that thing off. Next scene, you know what happens? He's outside
oh,
in the
he's
morning.
like,
He's trimming his beard. I'm like, thank you. Oh my god,
he
that
did a
means
shit
so
job,
much.
though.
Well, I mean,
Like,
whatever. I don't think he has like real
this side
scissors.
was like pretty shaven, but this side was still like, hey, what's up?
He didn't have a
Scraggly.
razor. He had scissors, and he was making the effort, and it looked a lot
I
better
mean,
than it did the
I'll
night
give him that.
before. I'll say that. So I was very happy because, like, yeah, I never get that in a movie. I'm always like, please just shave it, and they never do. So the fact that they made an effort, I approve of that. If you have to have a
Yeah.
dad, at least get him a little bit well groomed. So
um, so Laura grabs a bow and arrow and sets out to free the slave laborers and Lou Ren, and she does a pretty good job. Like she's taking some people out.
yeah, her whole plan is she heard Matthias on the satellite phone, like radioing in, saying like, we can get the chopper here to get everybody off once you open the tomb. So she's like, if I can just get this phone, I can get us off the island. Which I was like, really? I mean,
Yeah,
they're
I
gonna
don't
hear you
know
on the
how.
radio and be like, yeah, we're not coming for you. I don't know. So
Yeah,
it's a weird plan. But anyway, she goes and steals
all
the
plot
phone, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so she starts taking out some guards, gets some of the slave laborers armed up, and I feel like the plan's going pretty well until the dad shows up
Of
and fucks
course,
everything up.
he fucks everything up
Um,
just like a dad does. No, no, that's not true. I
he
love my dad. Dads are good.
walks up to the gate of the tomb of Himiko, and like is like in all of it because like he's been looking for this for years, obviously. And Matthias walks up behind him, points the gun at his head, and it's like he's like, "Oh, I've been looking for you." Um, and then this is where definitely a moment where I agree with you that like it made Laura look weak
Yes.
because somehow the dad ends up on the ground. Matthias has a gun to his head. Laura has a bow pointed at Matthias. And you're like, well, bullets travel faster than arrows, so this isn't going to end well. Uh, so Laura's like, I love you. I'll open the gate if you let him live. And Matthias agrees.
Hmm.
And then, I mean, hey, cool. That whole scene where she opens the door was pretty cool. Like, I was like, oh, she's doing her shit. Whatever, man.
Yeah, that was cool, but
Um,
like it made her
it did
it
make
did
her
make
look
her
weak.
weak. It made her do something for Matthias when that is not in her character. She would not
Yeah.
help him normally. Um, so just like ugh. But I mean, it's like what you expect in one of those movies, you know? You're
Yeah.
just like, yeah,
Um,
okay. Um,
and so at this point, this is where I was already like, all right, I'm on board. This movie's pretty good. Was like, this is my shit. Like, this is such a good fucking movie from here on.
do you remember the part when they first walk into the tomb and there's this skull on the ground? And do you remember what happens?
Yes. Okay. So this scene happened, and I was like, Sam's gonna bring this fucking up. So they walk in, and out of this skull's eye comes millions of little spiders, and I'm like, oh god, if this comes back at some point, like
It's
spiders are
great.
everywhere,
It was
I'm done with this
fantastic.
movie. Um. So they're walking in. Matthias has a couple dudes with him, and like one of them is very clearly scared, and one of them's a jerk and tries to make fun of the guy who's scared. and steps on a plating,
These
like
are
a
the
little trip.
stupidest guys in the world.
Yes.
Everybody keeps setting off booby traps. You would think they'd learn after the first one, but they don't.
Yeah.
Like, hey, maybe we should look where we step before we go anywhere. No, let's just run in there
So
and set stuff off, hope for the best.
yeah, it was bad. So they step on the plate, and a spike goes right through this dude's like side of his face, pretty much. Like it like comes from the ground, goes straight up, right through the side of the head. He falls down, and they're just like, "Oh, better watch your step, I guess." It's like, okay,
I mean, if I were in charge of this expedition, I would be like, okay, everybody walk in a straight line. We're going to be very careful. We're going to look exactly where we go before we take a step. Nobody touch anything. But
yeah.
no, they're just like, yeah, let's try it.
Um, I will say probably the worst part of this entire like, because this is like the third act. Like we're getting to the
Yeah.
conclusion of this movie. These one random bit was where they laid the ladder across the pit, and Laura had to slowly walk across it as if it was very dangerous. I was like, okay, this is weird.
Okay, all
Whatever.
right, Cody, I'd like to see you walk across a ladder over a deep chasm of who knows what's
Well,
down
first off,
there.
you
That's
don't
fucking
walk over
hard.
the fucking ladder.
It's
You
true. You
crawl on your
crawl.
hands and
That's true.
knees.
That's a very good
Like,
point.
why is this motherfucker standing? Like, sit down.
Yeah, yeah, I would crawl.
Um,
It's a good point.
I don't remember if there was a trap in between this. But then we get into the room, and early in the movie they call it the Faces of Himiko. And they go to try to leave, and one of the guards triggers a booby trap, and the doors close in this tiny little room. And then all of a
It's not
sudden,
a
the
tiny
floor,
room. It's a decent sized
it's
room.
decent sized room.
Because they're having to throw stuff real far.
Yeah, good point. And the floor starts falling out from under them, and
Piece by
Laura
piece.
has to figure out the puzzle to get out. And it turns out there's like a riddle, something about like the color of life. I don't know.
This
This
seemed
got a little
real.
weird for
It
me.
was really cheesy. I was like, what? What does even happen? Why? It just felt
Um,
real weird. But I will say, once she solved the puzzle, and it was like, it's a round rolling door, and like the floor had fallen away. So she was just like hanging on this door and like doing
I
stuff.
really
So,
expected her to go with it.
yeah, like, well, she starts, like, it starts rolling open again, and she's just like hanging on the door until she can get over to the edge and drop off. And that looked really cool. 'Cause, I mean, she's
Yeah.
got that upper body
Um,
strength, you know?
so it kind of forced some teamwork between Matthias and Laura and her dad. And they got the door opened after they made the color green because green equals
I
life.
mean, it does, but it
I
was just a
guess.
weird, weird thing.
Um, and I think from here we're pretty good. And then we get to the room where Himiko's body is,
Well, because
and
they go through this one more chamber, which I think is like where all of her, like, 1,000 handmaidens are, who like sacrifice themselves to guard her in her afterlife. And I expected something bad to happen in this area, but they just like walked right
yeah,
through. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I expected there to be one more
yeah.
challenge.
Um, so this entire time, Laura's dad's been kind of like, "Hey, shouldn't do this. Like, bad stuff's gonna happen." Like,
Like,
he
end
hundred
of the
percent believes.
world stuff.
Yeah, like he 100% believes Himiko is crazy. Like, if we do this, um,
Oh yeah, so the whole thing, his viewpoint on what was happening here was Himiko was a horrible, horrible person who was threatening the world, so they managed to trick her and trap her on this island so that humanity could be saved. That was the
yes.
premise.
Um, so they get to the tomb. They open up the kind of sarcophagus thing, and this is fucking creepy because like they open it, and it's just a normal looking chick laying there, and like
A
don't the
normal
eyes
dead
open or
looking
something like
chick.
that?
I don't remember if the eyes open.
I think the eyes pop open, and like
Okay.
everyone's like, "Oh shit!" And then her normal looking face like starts to decay and rot
Yeah.
away, and you're kind of like, "Oh, okay." Um, and
And like nobody reacted to that. I mean, I know
yeah,
like stuff that's
the eye
been
beam thing,
preserved
but
for a while, once air hits it, stuff happens, and I don't know if that's like a normal for it to just completely disintegrate, but everybody was just like, okay, that's cool, that's
yeah.
fine.
So like at this point, like Laura's kind of standing over there, and like the gears are turning in her head about like this, like things they say about Himiko and all this.
Mhm.
And Matthias orders some people to move the body. So one of the dudes touches it, and then it clicks in Laura's head that she wasn't actually a destroyer. she had a disease that was killing all these people, and to save the world, she offered to be put into this tomb
Mhm.
and die alone. So the guard who kind of touched the body just starts turning black
And
and
just kind
like
of disintegrating?
and kind of disintegrating and like almost like it looks like he's gonna explode,
Yeah.
and he kind of dies. And
No, he
Matthias
dies,
is like,
dies.
oh, he dies, yeah. Um, dies is very different than just dying. It's very painful.
Well, he
Um,
doesn't kind of die, he dies.
yeah. So Laura's dad's like, oh, this is what I told you all about. Like, bad shit, bad shit.
Well, and
Um,
let me just say, I like that they did that with the story. I thought that was a very interesting twist to it, that she
I thought
had
it was
like
fucking cool.
sacrificed herself to save the world. It was cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
And like the fact that she was like the only carrier of this disease, and like
Mhm.
that's why she had to do this. I was like, that's a really cool aspect of the story. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm in. Um, so Laura's dad's kind of like, all right, like y'all can't do this, and Matthias is like, nah, like this is how I get off this island. So he gets one little piece of, like, he breaks off a finger. That's what it was. Puts it in
Mhm.
a little baggie and puts it in his pocket.
Seems like a horrible idea.
Seems like a terrible idea, as you will find out later on. Laura and her dad are like, "Fuck no, y'all can't do this," and a fight ensues.
Well, okay, because when that first guy touched it, there were two people who had touched the body to try to get it out. So by this point, I think the other guy starts to have the problem, and that's when the fight ensues because he starts going crazy and attacking people as he's
Yeah, this is
disintegrating.
kind of
So,
this like I was like, okay, is he gonna turn to like a zombie or something? Like I was like, okay, where we're getting the weird
mm,
stuff at? So the one guy like kind of starts to freak out and like tries to attack Laura's dad, while Matthias is like booking it, and he
mm.
tells the other guard to deal with Laura. Laura does this like cool chase scene almost, and triggers a trap.
I guess I didn't understand what was happening in that room.
Yeah, it gets a little off the rails here, but so Matthias is leaving. He's fucking booking it. Laura gets chased into this random hallway and triggers a trap. I don't know how she knew the trap was there. Don't know. Just don't know.
She's real smart. She figures stuff out.
Yes.
Hold on,
The
back in the sarcophagus room, there was, I don't remember why somebody had it, but there was that like pickaxe like climbing tool that
I think they use it to pop the
okay.
lid off.
So that's there. So Laura gets that. That's like one of her iconic things from the game because she's
Yeah.
always climbing on stuff. So she's got that with her.
Trap and these like almost like there's I can't think. It's
So
not trap like it.
like in Home Alone when that bar comes down the stairway and hits people, it's like that, but it's got spikes on it and it looks very deadly.
Yeah. So a couple of those start coming down. She pulls some badass like jumps over them, slides under them, and then the last one she slides under. You get a cool slow mo shot of it, like
Mm,
just passing her face, and it kills the other guard. And I was like, all right, that was pretty sick.
some good action.
And so that's when she goes back to the sarcophagus. I'm pretty sure. And during the fight, her dad was fighting the kind of dying guy,
Yeah.
and gets scratched. I'm pretty sure by
I
him,
think just
so,
touching conveys
or
it.
touched.
So
Yeah,
he
so
got
she
touched.
kind of makes a tourniquet to slow it down to have time to say bye to Laura. Um, and he's like, "You got to go. I love
Well, you
you,
have to
but
go stop Matthias. That's the
yeah,
important thing. Like Matthias
can't let that
cannot get this to the world.
can't leave the island with that." And so you're kind of like, "Wow, this is real sad." She like came here to save her dad, and
Hmm.
now he's gonna die here. And I was like, "That's pretty sad." And then I was like, "But I fucking called it. That fucker's gonna die." Like,
And I was a-okay with this. I was like, yeah, go ahead and kill him, get him out of here so that we don't have
yeah.
to let her be free, let her be Lara Croft. She does not need to be daddy's girl anymore. So
Um,
I was fine with that. I mean, it was sad, but yeah, they have to say their goodbyes. She has to head on out. Take care of
so,
Matthias.
so then we have two things going on here. Laura's dad, before he dies, is gonna blow up the tomb
Hmm.
so no one can come back and get more of Himiko's body. Laura heads off to stop Matthias, and a pretty badass fight ensues. She kind of like kicks the ladder away so that
Hmm.
he can't cross the pit that she had crossed. My big question here is how exactly did Matthias? I guess he just kind of skirted the edges of that one room where the floor fell out,
Yeah, yeah, they both did. That was
which
fine.
makes sense
That's
how
fine.
Laura had time to catch up.
Yeah.
Um, Laura catches up, they fight. It looks like he's going to straight up murder her, and then I forget how
This
this
is
happened.
okay. This is my
Oh,
other big angry moment. Okay, so Matthias has her held down. She is pretty helpless. She cannot get free. It's like this is it. This is all. She's not going to be able to get out of
yeah,
this on her own. And the thing that saves her is because her dad sets off the explosives. The explosion rocks stuff. It throws Matthias off. She's able to knock him off and get free and kill him. And I'm like, no, like, no, 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 no. Laura is the hero. She does not need her father to save her. Like, she should be able to do this on her own. Like, that's like, it's just like, oh, it was so upsetting for me. Like, she wasn't able to just have the final thing on her own. And like, if this scenario had presented itself in a different way, like she was held down, she can't get free, and just like maybe she had set a timed explosive and that's what
yeah.
triggered it, and then it would be okay because it's like, okay, but that's still her. The fact that it was her father like really made me mad. It's like she's not allowed to stand on her own 2 feet.
I just expected like her to like kick him in the butt or something off of her. Like I was just waiting for her to like see her like kind of do like some weird kick up thing and just knock him off. But yeah, the explosion happened.
Yeah.
Um, and then like fucking brutal kill coming up. She gets the finger that he had put in a little baggie in his pocket and shoves it in his mouth and like forces him to eat it almost. And then like roundhouse kicks him into the pit. And I was like, holy shit, that's cool.
And I didn't understand that because, like, what was the point of sticking that in there to, I guess, make him sick? But A, I don't care that it's in a plastic baggie. I would not want to touch that finger,
Yeah,
and it's
said
not
yeah.
going to infect him if it's in the baggie in his mouth. So I was just like, that's just weird. I
I
don't
think
know.
she made him bite down on it. Like she like put it in and then she'd be like, I saw her do this, like on his head.
I don't, it just
I
seemed weird. I don't know if, are you just gonna bite on something and that's gonna like break through the plastic bag? I don't know.
I
I
mean
mean,
it was a very small plastic bag. I assumed it went through.
I feel like if I got a Ziploc baggie right now and stuck it in my mouth and bit it, I don't think I would break
Well, no,
through
you have to
it.
have something in it because like this shoe is like it would be pulled across item inside. So when you bit down, there's
I
tension on
feel
it.
like we're gonna have to do some experiments to see the
Well,
viability of
maybe
this.
hey, future
Let's
video
let's
series.
find
Let's
some
find out
stuff
if
here
this
we
is
can
real.
bite.
Um,
Okay, not the point.
so after the cool roundhouse kick, she is trying to escape the tunnel, and she does this like really badass leap over the pit and has her
This
little pick.
this was so
And like,
good because that is a total game moment because she has to like make a big leap, hook on with her pick, and climb up, and it's just
yeah,
fantastic. That felt good seeing that.
she gets outside, reunites with Lou Ren, and around this time is where the chopper that Matthias had called in shows up, and
Because he
they
called
get
for
to
the chopper
see,
as soon as he said, I've got the tomb open. So people were
yeah,
coming for them.
uh, they see all the slave laborers and Lou Ren with guns. They see her with the bow, and she's just kind of like, "Y'all getting us out of here." I have a slight issue with this because I feel like that chopper was very small, and there was a lot of people to put on that chopper, but they somehow got them all.
Yeah. Like,
It was like that's a very small chopper, man. Like this wasn't like a
chop.
freaking
And they have like a maximum weight limit as well. They were
exactly like.
crammed in there.
Also, where were you bringing those people? Like I don't
It's
understand.
true. Like wherever you'd be going, you would think that would be like the evil Lair's stronghold. But I guess they
Um,
redirected the chopper. I don't know. It's fine. They end up on a boat, right? Or is that the
no,
movie? No, that's the movie.
I
I
think
mean, that's the game. Never mind. I'm confused.
yeah, that's the
That's
game
that was the
probably.
game. Okay.
So she heads back to London. We'll assume.
To her home,
Uh,
yes.
Now that she 100% knows her dad is dead, she signs the papers. She is going to have her name's Anna, right?
Anna, yeah.
Anna run the day to day stuff, and she is going to run kind of like I guess the business somehow. Uh,
Well, she gives power of attorney to Anna, which is important.
yeah, I
So,
think so. Um, and so she's looking through this book, and she makes comment to the old man who gave her the book, like, "Oh, we own all these companies," and then like stuff starts to happen, and you see or putting pieces together that so the Trinity is doing stuff they deal with supernatural things like Kimiko, um, and I guess her dad believed Anna to be part of Trinity, and that because the dad makes comment that someone from Trinity is watching him.
Hmm.
The dad believed it was Anna because there was a picture of Anna that he took like following him, and then she sees one of the businesses that they own was all over the stuff that Matthias and his gang was using.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the name
I forget
was. I
what
think
it was too.
was
That's
it
too bad.
Praxian? I want to say it was like something Axian.
Something. I don't know. Doesn't
Um,
matter.
so that kind of sets up a future movie where Laura is
Yes.
obviously going to be trying to stop the Trinity and like stop Anna because uh, and that pretty much is where the movie wraps up. Is her starting to plan her next adventure.
Yes, and I love this ending. I love how it sets up the next movie, and I am super excited for the next movie where she gets to be herself and she doesn't have these daddy issues to deal with. She just gets to be the quintessential Lara Croft and out there kicking ass, being super strong, being the hero, and I'm 100% ready for that. Um,
And then we have one final scene. So earlier in the movie,
can't believe
to
we didn't
make
talk
money.
about this yet. I loved
Yeah, I don't
this
know. We
part. This
didn't talk
was
about
so
this.
great.
To make some money to pay for the boat to get to the island, she sells a necklace that her dad gave her to a pawn shop. Some pretty funny dialogue in that scene.
The pawn shop owner and
Um,
his wife are hilarious. They were really good characters.
yeah. Uh, and so she goes back to get it. She has like all this money because now she owns the business.
Yeah.
And then so she gets the necklace back, and then she looks in the back. She sees guns, and I don't know, like in the game, is this like a big thing that she does the dual Desert Eagles? I know in the old Tomb Raider movies, that was like the thing is Angelina Jolie had two Desert Eagles that she used.
Um,
And I guess maybe the early games they did those,
I
but
don't
in the
know. There
new set of
was
games, I don't know.
there was just one point where I had two guns at the same time. The rest of the time it was
Okay.
always just one gun at a time. It was a pretty
Yeah.
badass scene when I had the two
Yeah.
guns. But yeah. And I thought
I
that
definitely feel
was
like
oh go ahead.
staple thing for Laura Croft is
Yeah.
to have the two handguns. So maybe they were just trying
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting that the whole movie, like, she only really had the bow and arrow. She didn't get into any of the guns yet. But, like, in the game, you get all kinds of guns. So, I mean, she doesn't have a problem with guns. So, I guess we're going to see that in the next movie, which is cool. I'm good with that. But yeah, overall,
100% sure how this did at the box office, but I think it had to be done. I haven't heard any negative reports
yeah,
about it, so
yeah,
hopefully it did well enough for us to get a sequel of some sort. Because I enjoyed this movie. Like I had my issues with it, obviously, but I had a lot of fun with it.
yeah,
Thought it was a good popcorn flick, and I'm definitely down for another Tomb Raider movie.
yeah. I'm just checking my notes to see if there's anything that I missed. Um,
So you made it this far and you haven't seen the movie. We just spoiled
I mean, you
everything for
probably
you.
don't need to now.
You probably don't need to, unless you just really want to make sure there's a sequel, uh, and go watch it yourself. But yeah, if you can definitely like, I don't know, if you want to just wait and rent it, I definitely recommend it. Um,
I mean, I think it's fun to see in the theater. I don't like Cody's measured review of it here. It's like, no, it was a good movie. It was good. It's a lot of fun. You should go see
okay,
it.
I always say movies are pretty good. Like Batman v Superman, pretty good flick in my opinion. You can at that comic book Cody if you want to fight me on that because I love Batman v Superman, you motherfuckers. Um,
That's a whole other podcast.
Whole other
Um,
podcast. Um, yeah. Any final thoughts, right, Sam?
Not really about the movie. There were a few things I wanted to say about the game
Yes, go
because
for it.
I loved this game so much. I had no idea what to expect when I started it. Oh my god, excuse me, hold on.
Sam's losing your voice. Don't worry about us.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Um, so it turns out like this type of game, like this action adventure, like linear story going around shooting things, it's exactly what I want. It's like my favorite type of game. It felt very similar to like Resident Evil 4, except with really good
Huh.
controls.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. You go in, like you kind of clear an area with the enemies, then you go gather your stuff and you keep going. Um, so I loved that about it. It's a really beautiful game, and like the HUD is completely clear most of the time, and then you just do a little ping to like see your objective waypoint and stuff like that. So you get to like just see the beauty of it. Um, I kind of feel like this game, it's like this close to being a horror game. Now, I know that sounds
Hmm.
weird, but it's really tense. There's like thunderstorms and like dark, scary stuff. And then in multiple points in the game, you get to spaces where there's like just like skulls and skeletons and like rivers of blood that you have to go through. And I'm like, if you just substituted these guys with guns with like zombies, like it could totally be like a Resident Evil game. Which is probably why I like it. It's very good. Um, there are just one thing I love when like games make really good use of the DualShock controller. So this game, most of the time, the light is green on your controller, but anytime you have a torch in your hand, the light will flicker like a red yellow to like mimic the
Oh,
firelight, which is
yeah, that's
really
pretty
cool.
cool.
It's so cool when they do stuff like that. Um, and then there's just like there are scenes where there's really quick action and you have to do some little quick time events to, complete them. And usually I don't care for that. But these are like really invigorating. Like there's a part where you're like going down these zip lines and you have to like drop off of one and like land on another one below and keep going, and then you like jump in this river and you have to like shotgun the blockade to get through, and it's just like it was so exciting. So like the stuff that they do like that was so fun. I just liked it a whole lot. Um, yeah, that was
So are you most likely going to play the next one? Because now you have to play the second one. Because the third one is coming out this
third
year.
one's coming out. Yes.
Yeah.
So fun fact, Rise of the Tomb Raider is available on Game Pass on Xbox. So I'll be playing it there. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm excited to
okay.
try it. So
Little
yeah.
tie into our last episode. Okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm
But
about to sit and play these games because I had a bad experience with the first one, the first like 10 minutes. Maybe if I just got past that, I'd have a little bit more fun with it.
let me
So I
tell
definitely
you,
have to go back and
Cody,
try it.
I was playing it on easy, and that probably made a huge
Yeah,
difference. It was a lot of fun. I had that
maybe.
auto aim assist on, so like I'd be in cover and
Oh,
I'd just pop up and I'd already be aimed at the people. I could just shoot at them. It was great.
okay.
So it lets you just enjoy the game without having to like deal with like really tough stuff. And I will say, you know how I hate puzzles, but I mean it does have puzzles in the tombs, but they're not like super hard, and like some of them are kind of fun, so I didn't mind them that much. I did have to look a few up to figure out what I was doing. There
Yeah.
was this one. Okay, the game did glitch a few times, and like sometimes it would get like stuck, and I'd have to just close the whole game down and restart it. But there was this one tomb, and I'm like, I know I just need to climb on this thing and then just jump on the wall. But like I got over to the thing, and like it wouldn't let me jump to the wall. It was only letting me jump in place, and I couldn't jump off the thing. I was like, what am I doing wrong? I got so angry. But I just had to close it and restart the game, and it was fine. And the good thing is it has really good checkpoints. So like
Oh, that's
even
good.
if when you do die, it's just like it loads you really close to where you were. So it's a lot of fun. I recommend it.
All right. All right. Well, that about wraps us up for our special edition of
Yeah.
the Card Games podcast. Let us know if you would like other movie reviews. We can, I think we have plans for the best video game movie of all time, the Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Yeah. So if you know any video game movies you want covered, let us know. We'll see what we can do about it. You can reach us at contact@geekheartgames.com. You can follow us on Twitter at geekheartgames. If you would like to watch our YouTube videos, we are at geekheartgames.com/YouTube. And if you want to join our Discord server, where I'm sure we'll have a bunch of talk about the Tomb Raider movie in our little movies channel, it's geekheartgames.com/Discord. It's a little shortcut for that. You can follow me on Twitter and tell me how BVS is the greatest superhero flick of all time at Comic Book Cody. Sam?
I don't have any exciting movie things to fight about on Twitter, but I'm at SKSUVAK.
All right. And that'll about do it for this week. We hope you guys enjoyed. remember to leave us a review on iTunes. You can listen to us on Spotify and leave a review there, I'm sure, somehow. Just leave the reviews
Yeah,
and
yeah.
likes and all that. It helps
It's
out.
all
It helps
good.
us out. We really greatly appreciate it. All right, Sam, take it away.
We're just two geeks who heart games. Do. Yeah.
That was so like no enthusiasm in your at all. Like, come on.
I didn't prep my dudes beforehand, so.
You gotta prep those dudes. Prep the dudes. Right. Bye, everybody.
Cody, I have this fear that one day I'm going to start the recording and I'm just gonna forget to put our images in full screen mode and they'll just be the small ones and then like the overlay is going to be messed up and it's just going to record the whole podcast that way and it's going to look horrible.
I mean, we'd just be really tiny. It'd be kind of funny though.
No, it wouldn't just be tiny. It would be like partially cut off and you would see like the rest of my Discord screen like in the holes also, so it would look really bad.
So we would see all those very weird, kind of kinky chats you have open.
No. You just see a little bit of our chat, and then you would see like a friends
God, yeah,
list.
you don't want to see the head.
No, well, because I think like somewhere on our chat there's the BRB gotta go poop or something message, and I'm sure we don't want that.
I wanted to know if you could see if I had to leave, but hurry. For the record, if you're going to use this for the outro, I did not have to poop. We were just testing.
Well, now I need to use it for the outro.